We have some huge news involving Scott Boras and his recent comments to the press at the winter meetings involving Corbin Burnes and how it relates to the Baltimore Orioles. Find out soon. Welcome to Orioles Digest. I'm your host, Kam Brice. And like I've mentioned in every other video, please drop a subscribe button and come support the channel. Now, the news is breaking because over the last couple of days, the Baltimore's have not been linked to Corbin Burnes. The Toronto Blue Jays, San Francisco Giants, and the Boston Red Sox have been the main suitors. And the Baltimore's have been at one of the teams to be linked to other guys like Blake Snell, Max Fried, Garrett Crochet, and now Dylan Cease. But some news just came out about the Orioles. Rich DeBoff of the MLB in a recent press conference that Scott Boras had at the winter meetings, said under David Rubenstein, the Orioles have been way more aggressive, and that's a good sign to hear for fans. Now, Corbin Burnes remains open to a return to Baltimore, and that's having a lot of people question. After the last couple of days, the Orioles have not been linked to Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes had been sought out of getting a big contract from Toronto and not returning to the Baltimore Orioles. Now the question is going to be, what will the offer for Corbin Burnes look like? Are the Baltimore Orioles going to go out of their way and pay for a guy for over 5 years, well over 200 million, and breathe that proven ace in? I think they should do. If we look at Corbin Burnes' stats and what he did last season, it was amazing. In 32 games pitched last season, he only allowed 22 home runs, struck out 181 batters, and had an ERA of 2.92 with a 1.096 whip. That was ranked as top three as one of the best in the MLB. And let's not forget, Corbin Burnes was top three in Cy Young voting last season. So, now we're looking at a potential contract. I would give Corbin Burnes a contract approximately around 5 years, 225 million. That gives you approximately close to 35 million a year. That's something that the Orioles can afford. As reports are that Scott Boras came out today at the winter meetings and said the Orioles are aggressive in the free agency that they have ever been before. And I know a lot of fans, this is not something that we want to hear. We want to see a signing. We want to see an actual contract presented. But I'm sure Corbin Burnes is in the process of talking to the Orioles. They're probably figuring out an offer, where he's at, where they're at, where they're going. But he's also had the San Francisco Giants, who, let's not forget, who just got Buster Posey as their baseball operations. So they're moving fast. And then the Toronto Blue Jays, who haven't acquired a pitcher this offseason, who also are willing to give out a massive contract. Now, the problem with the Baltimore Orioles is if Toronto goes out and give Corbin Burnes a contract similar to Max Fried, 8 years, well over 200 million, I don't think the Orioles can match that. While they do have a new owner in David Rubenstein, you can't pay a guy 8 years over $200 million. Now he is 30 years old. At the end of his contract, he would be 38 years old. And if it's an opt-out net contract around his fourth or sixth year, so he'll be probably around 34, 35 years old. This is good news, though. This is something Orioles fans should want to hear. You want to bring back Corbin Burnes. After what we saw in the playoffs, Corbin Burnes almost had a shutout. He went 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 11 strikeouts. He was the most dominant pitcher in the playoffs at that point, but the Orioles just could not come through in the offensive end. And that left a lot of fans hopeless. Like, is this the last time we'll see Corbin Burnes? It was the first time in 2024 that the Baltimore Orioles have ever had a true ace. And if Elias, if you listen to this, you need to re-sign Corbin Burnes. You have no other opportunity. It's Corbin Burnes or bust. What he has meant to the city of Baltimore in the span of 1 year has been absolutely sensational. And he brought from one of the worst rotations to baseball to now one of the best rotations in baseball. You pair that with Grayson Rodriguez, Zach Eflin, and let's not rule out a trade or Dylan Cease. The Orioles can still go get Dylan Cease. You can sign Corbin Burnes and then still trade for Dylan Cease. You have the capital, you have the draft capital, you have the money. The question is Mike Elias willing to spend? That's all we have for today, folks. Make sure you drop subscribe button. Keep updated on the channel as we will be having all the breaking news about the Baltimore Orioles. And the next time I talk to you, I hope Corbin Burnes is back in Baltimore.